الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد إن الأصدق حديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثات بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. قال الله تعالى بالقرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم كل نفس ذائقة الموت صدق الله العظيم. The topic of my khutbah today is the lessons that we must learn from the recent catastrophes faced by our brothers and sisters, our mothers, our children in Morocco and Libya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs us in Surah Al Imran verse 185, كل نفس ذائقة الموت. Every soul shall taste death. And the word used for this passing or this experience is taste. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't use words randomly. There is nothing random. The Quran, in every single word in the Quran is precise. And the choices that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made for the words that He uses in this final message to humanity is precise. And He uses the word dha'iqa, which is taste. Every soul shall taste that. He could have said every soul shall pass away, will die. But He used the word taste. And taste, if you think about it, is a unique experience. We have different tastes in life. You have good taste and bad taste. If you think about it literally, from the food that we eat, we have different tastes. We have pleasant and unpleasant taste. And you can also use the word taste, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses, as an experience. Taste can also be an experience, and He uses it as an experience. But if you think about it, again, if you go into the deeper sense, it can be a pleasant experience. The taste of what we eat can be pleasant, and it can be very unpleasant as well. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word taste because this experience of death can be pleasant and can be unpleasant as well. And so, how we live our life determines the experience of death. How we live our life on this earth, the taste of death will be different based on our life that we live. And we know of this scary hadith about how our souls will be extracted from us, of those who live a life of mischief and sin and fasad, hurting people, causing all sorts of shar on this earth, living a life of heedlessness. Their death, their taste of life, and the experience of death, they describe to us that is like you take out a soul, like a wet wool taken out from corn. That's a very difficult, very painful experience. And the taste of the passing of the righteous person is beautiful. You have two angels that greet you, beautiful, and then you just are. It's a beautiful experience from the hadith that we know. So the taste of death, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses this word taste. So without belaboring too much, just want to emphasize that really, if anything you want to get from this khutbah is how we pass and the experience of how we pass will be incumbent and determined by how we live. And so the topic of death is what I wanted to talk about, because we lost 20,000 of our brothers and sisters in Libya and nearly 3,000 in Morocco just a few weeks ago. And our brothers and sisters in Libya went to sleep at night and never woke up in the morning for the torrential floods, and the dam broke and they were gone. 20,000, just imagine. And similarly for the brothers and sisters in Morocco. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed us in Surah Al-Mulk, الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِنَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. In this also, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions death first. We created death and life. And again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's choices are precise. We created death and life so that we would test who is good indeed. That is because, in a way, death is even more important. Why? Because what will happen after we pass away is so much more important than this paltry life that we lived here. If you look at the life of Hazrat Nuh, the longest that we know of, 950 years, he was asked on his deathbed about his life, and he said, it was as if I entered a house from the front door and left from the back. 1,000 years. Think of us, how short, how brief our life will feel when we're done with all of this. And again, in the Quran, Allah informs us, that you're going to say, I was on this earth for a day or a day and a half, or something really, really short. 90, 100 years, which is, 80, 90, now the lifespan is good. But still feel like a day and a half. So our life is really trivial. It's short, very important. Very important. So how we live is important, but it is short. But death is important because that opens the gate to eternity. And so that is so much more important. That is why Mufassirin say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions death first in Surah Mulk. الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوكُمْ. So when I am lying in my grave and you are lying in your grave, it will not matter whether we lived in a big home or a small home, we lived in a fancy neighborhood or a small neighborhood, whether we had an MD or a PhD or a JD or whatever in front of our names, whether we were junior accountant or senior accountant, whether we were CEO or we were just cleaning the company that you work for, it will not matter. It will be ahsan wa amala. It will be how we lived our life and how we conducted our affairs. The Prophet ﷺ informed us that humanity is anchored in the reality through the remembrance of death. Humanity is anchored in the reality through the remembrance of death. And again, when we live knowing that we will pass, knowing that this is transient, yet important because we gather our good deeds here, then we are constantly in touch with reality. We should not think of death as a far-off concept, something that will happen long time from now. But we should think of death as something that is coming to us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs us in Surah Jumu'ah, verse number 8. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم. We are going to tell them that death from which you flee will certainly come to you. Mulaqikum will overtake you, will come to you. So don't think about, I am going towards my death slowly, and when I'm in my 70s, in my 80s, then I will pass away. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs us that it will meet you. it will come to you. Go to the graveyard and look at the graves. 2 years old, 8-year-old, 12-year-old, 15-year-old, 90-year-old. Death does not come. There's no guarantee that death will come at 80, 70, 90. It can come at any time. We know this reality, but we forget about it. And so it is important to be in touch with this reality. And in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then says, death from which you flee will come to you, will overtake you. Then you will be returned to Him who fully knows what is hidden and what is manifest. Thereupon He will let you know all that you used to do. And the word used by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse is فَنُنَبِّئُكُمْ, which is, Naba is news, new news. But how is it new news? We know all that we did on this earth, right? We know that we, cheated or lied or hurt our parents or hurt our children or stole or hurt from somebody's feelings or backbid or did something we weren't supposed to. We know all of this. But how will it be new news? Allah will remind you. It will come to you and will say, oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. I did this too, I did that too. So Allah will remind you. He will tell you of everything that you used to do. Thereupon He will let you know all you used to do. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again uses this precise word as He will give you the news of what you used to do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs us in the Quran, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna wa'adallahi haqq. The promise of Allah is haqq. It is true. And the promise of Allah is that we will leave and we will be brought back to life. That we will be accountable for every single action as He has promised us. That Munkar and Nakir will question us in our graves, and the Khurram Qadir are writing down each and every good and bad deed that we did yesterday, today, 10 years ago, for me, 30 years ago. Every single thing is written down. So these and so many more promises of Allah are haqq. We will be resurrected, we will come back to life. So do not be deceived by this world. And do not be deceived by the deceiver, Shaitan, who is there to deceive you at every step of the way. Because he has taken upon himself to lead us all astray. And those, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, it is again a beautiful thing that when we connect with the Quran and understand the Quran, read the Quran, we know who are the ones who are protected from Shaitan. Those who are sincere. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs us in the Quran that, he will distract you and take you from the right and attack you from the left. But those who are sincere, they're protected. So we need to be sincere. We need to have ikhlas in this deen. And that is how we remain protected. So death is something that happens every day. Death is something that keeps us grounded in reality of this world and the reality of our return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is great to do well on earth. We encourage it. We encourage that you have high aspirations. We're not saying that we should always be like, okay, I'm going to be dying tomorrow. This is not what we're talking about. We're talking about being in touch with reality, grounded in reality. So yes, aspire high, but not at the cost of your akhirah. Aspire to get a job, aspire to get your degree, whatever you're looking for sure, do well in it, excel in it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves ihsan. Allah loves